of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decide the fiction from the truth. Society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking opinion.
What's happening? Good to see you. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Yeah, heavy duty news today. Very sad, and it hits me personally very, very hard because, truth be told, in all due seriousness, I wouldn't even be here right now doing this show if it wasn't for Al Barile. Many of you know that. Al Barile and SSD Control. That was the first hardcore show I ever saw back in 1981. And when the show was over, Al took off his guitar and approached me and wanted to know who I was and what I was doing there. And he was very kind. I was alone there. It was a bit of a scary thing for a teenager. And he came over and befriended me. And I fell in with those guys and became part of the early Boston crew. And I'm thanked on the SSD Control album, The Kids Will Have Their Say, and took a lot of road trips and huge influence on me, that band early on, and learned a lot from that guy, learned a lot from that guy. And, probably the biggest thing was, you can do it yourself. We don't need a record company, and we don't need a professional photographer, and we don't need a graphic artist, and like, you can do it. You can do it yourself and with your friends. And so, yeah, I spoke to his Nancy, his wife, now his widow. I spoke to her this morning, and I spoke to Jamie Sharapper from SSD. Spring has been fucking texting me for a couple of days now, and that whole bit. But where is? Yeah, these are. Let me put up a couple. You know what? It's very early. It's very early on. I mean, this just happened this morning, right? But hopefully, if it's okay with Nancy, we would do a tribute show like we did when our friend Scott Koenig passed, and we'll do an Al Barile tribute show. That's the best way to pay homage to our dearly departed friend. Listen, and I don't want to get too deep into it. I know Al, who was a big supporter of the show, would want me to do the show, and he wouldn't want me to talk about it at all. So, I don't want to turn it into sort of, this isn't a memorial show by any means, but, in the spirit, in this spirit right here, which is and I was there. I was right there for this, man. I was right there for this. And the reckless abandon. This is the reckless abandon, the spirit of the early American hardcore scene. I mean, Al pretty much, he hurt himself doing this stuff. He paid for it in later life with his back issues. And early SSD Control was a sight to behold. They were incredible. They were an incredible band, and they were a band that changed my life. They were a band that changed my life. I mean, listen, this isn't a secret, but before I went to that first hardcore show, in a lot of ways, like, I was into like the Grateful Dead and the Rolling Stones and the Allman Brothers Band and Hot Tuna and Leonard Skinner or whatever. And like seeing that first SSD controller, my life just went woo. Things changed after that one for sure. You know, things changed after that one for friggin' sure. You know, here's a shot a couple years ago of Tristan, you know, from Incendiary Device and Al and me, you know, before Al really, you know, got sick. You know, it's a very, you know, really nice shot of us, you know. So, yeah, there you go, you know. So I'm holding it together. I thought I was going to fall apart, but yeah, that's how it goes. So, you know, we'll do a tribute show and but yeah, it's a big one in my world, man. Huge one in my world, man. You know, I was in the trenches with this guy, you know. I was in the, you know, like I was in the trenches with this guy, you know, in the early in 1981, you know, going to Bab Rain shows and Minor Threat shows and those early SSD control shows at the Media Workshop. You know, I took these pictures actually. Hold on. Just and I told myself this isn't going to be it's not going to be a memorial show, but it's not. But I just want to show you, like, where's a good Al Barile shot? Hold on. Yeah, here these are shot. Like I took these shots in 1981 at a place called the Media Workshop in Boston. You know. I took this with a little, whatever the fuck that was, a 110. No, actually it was a Canon Sure shot, I remember. But you know, I took these and let me tell you, don't let anybody tell you any different. There was 25 kids there, if that. I mean, it was a really, you know, here's a good one, man. I mean, this one says a lot, you know. SSD control, playing in front of like a dirty, you know, backdrop, hand drawn, you know, before they had a second guitar player, you know. So shots I took as a teenager, as a teen, you know. One last one, like from the Media Workshop, you know. Look at that. Springer, you know. Kids, man. We were kids. We were young kids, man. You know? Crazy, right? Crazy shit. Young kids, man. But, you know, that's life, man. The ebb and flow of life, man. People come, you know, people come and go, you know. And Al, you know, Al left a ripple. He left a mark, and not everybody can say that. You know, he influenced a lot of people in a very short amount of time. You know, those two SSD control records, The Kids Will Have Their Say and Get It Away, you know, influenced many people. He left an incredible mark, and not everybody can say that. So, you know, we're blessed with his legacy. You know, that's right, Mike Gitter. Mike Gitter knows, he's a Boston guy. You know, he was there. Mike Gitter was there. You know, and Mike Gitter's another guy that's gone on, still has the love, you know, of heavy and hard music in his heart. He's still in the game. He's still an A&R guy, you know. So, you know what's really tragic, and some of you may have lived through this. What's really tragic in this life is when somebody passes before their time. When somebody's life is cut short for whatever reason, whether it's a tragedy or violence or an illness. And I've lived through that in my family. I know many of you have also. that's the saddest thing, man, and the hardest thing to deal with. Sure, people come, people pass, but when someone's led a full life and has left an incredible legacy, right on. What's incredibly sad is when somebody leaves before their time for whatever the reason, And that's right, Gitter. If it wasn't for Al, none of this would have happened. And I said that when the show started. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for Al Barile. I mean, not to get heavy on you, not to get heavy on you, brothers and sisters, but like, that dude in that band changed my life. So, Eddie Medina, yeah, man. Good to see you. And everybody, I see everybody out there. Fuzz in upstate New York. Thank you, Fuzz. And of course, Vinny, we love you, Vinny, and Paul Stone and over the pond, and Francis Sawyer and everybody else. Derek Murphy, Urban Street Bike Warriors represent. Yeah, I see everybody out there. So, all right. Laura Zeitlin in New Jersey. So that said, speaking of changing people's lives, let's bring on the one, the only hardcore Shutterbug, who's in the business of changing people's lives.
One life at a time.
Hey.
Al will go down as the longest Hardcore Chronicles episode we ever did.
Yeah, it was like 3.5 hours, right?
No, it was over 4.
It was over 4.
And it was on I think it was on Easter. And I kept leaving the house to stay on the show. And I remember how hard it was. Like I don't want to talk. We couldn't, the show could have gone on another hour. You know what it is? You know what it is? It's like, it took me years to get him to come on the show. Right.
Yeah. And when he came on, once he was on, I wasn't going to end it. You know what I mean? Once he was on, sometimes you get guys like him who, like Lombardo was great.
Yeah.
Like these guys are great, man.
It really was. It really was a great, having that. And just I feel like, and even the thing we just did at Bridge 9, with the other boys from SSD, like,
yeah,
it's nice that it's still fresh. All that music is still fresh. And I'm sure tonight at Agnostic Front and Murphy's Law, I'm sure Roger will definitely have a lot to say, because he was a huge influence on him as well.
Roger doesn't hesitate to say that SSD and Springer as a front man was a huge influence on him. And of course, Purcell and the youth crew and all the straight edge guys and all that, So
yeah.
Hopefully we can do a tribute show sooner than later. But it's really I would defer to Nancy. If Nancy didn't want it or said Al didn't want that, then I would have to, out of respect for his, I would have to pass on that, So,
yeah.
That said, what do we got? What's going on?
Well, a couple of things. Just got a text message from my brother that Ovechkin scored today.
That's right. Ovi
now
passed
Wayne Gretzky's goals. He's still behind him in assists by like 1,500 or something. But
listen, Ovechkin, Gretzky, two different kind of players, two different eras. Gretzky was more of a team. It was a team guy. He passed the puck a lot. A lot of people scored. He a lot of assists. And Ovechkin kind of stands in front of the net and gets fed the puck. But
he's the guy to score. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been cool watching Gretzky at every game for the last few weeks.
Sure.
Cheering him on.
It's a good thing for hockey, man. And Ovechkin's a great player, and it's good to see records get broken, stuff.
Well,
like
I
that,
remember as a kid seeing Gordie Howe in the stands watching Gretzky break the records.
Sure. Hockey's about the only sport that I even I enjoy in any way, shape, or form at this point, because baseball's changed so much. I don't barely recognize it. I don't really enjoy it. And I used to be a huge baseball Yankees fan, and now I'm just really not into it. And football doesn't do anything for me. I just, you got to watch 300,000 commercials to watch fucking 5 minutes of football. It's like, hockey's still kind of like the only sport that I still enjoy. So, yeah. Well, anyway,
a couple of other things. I was going through one of my boxes and I found some doubles. So what I'm going to do is when I see you at the show next week, I have some presents for you.
What do you got?
I have for you right here.
Ah, nice.
Avengers 150.
Right.
And coincidentally, I also have for you Fantastic Four 150.
Wow.
With Ultron, ironically, who's an Avengers villain.
Yep.
And this one, if anyone's been paying attention to our flyers for the last 7 years,
right,
you'll see the
nice.
Anytime these two collide, it ends up on one of our shows.
Those are great. I appreciate that. I sold my comic book. I sold my comic book collection along with my CDs, my records, my hardcore T-shirts, my Misfits, the Fly, anything that was
not nailed down.
That wasn't nailed down, I sold, including a couple gold records.
I remember when the guy bought the Insane Clown Posse one right off the wall.
Yeah. Yep.
That was on for the first few shows too. It was on for the first probably year.
Yeah. You know what? You reminded me of we were talking about comic conventions, and here's a shot of me and Mark Levine, who's still my best friend, in 1976 when they used to have the comic book conventions at at like the Roosevelt Hotel here in Manhattan, or the Penn across from Penn Station. And I think we had a table and we were selling some of our comics. 1976.
Yeah, look at the Jaws shirt. It's awesome.
Yeah, rocking the Jaws shirt. I like that shirt I'm wearing too.
Yeah, you're like a young Abby Hoffman.
Yeah, right? The young Abby Hoffman. That's great. That's fantastic. So there you go. Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I love those other ones. I love those other ones you gave me. I opened them up just to smell them. I love the smell of old comics.
Oh yeah, it's you know what, it's a cool thing, and it just it reminds me of a being a kid and everything. But
yeah,
otherwise, so now I'm gonna head over to Amityville Music Hall tonight to see
sure.
A.F. Murphy's Law, Fire is Murder.
It's A.F. Murphy's Law last show of the tour.
Yeah. Oh, Violent Way, Fire is Murder, and Point Blank. So
right.
It's going to be a long one,
Yeah. Cool.
But also, hey, and we had a great time last night. Me and Larry Kelly and Ray Hogan and Rich Zoller went over to see the Casa Gogol Records release party. We had a blast with Eugene and the gang. So
I saw that.
Tons going on. The pictures I'll save for another
time. Wanted to go last night, but Saturday nights are tough for me. I got this show on Sunday, and I get up real early to do it, and
that's it.
I do, and I take pride in delivering the goods. So I can't be out at midnight and come home late. And I'm up at just.
Oh, I know. I see.
I'm up at motherfucking 6 a.m. setting this show up. Already, what is it? It's 3 here, 6. I'm already 8 hours spending getting today's show together. So
yeah,
Anyway,
because you care.
Well, I care. I love it, and it pays my rent and bills. So there you go.
Exactly.
It's what I do. Some people are plumbers. Some people are, electricians. Some people collect comic books, and
we do this.
I do this. So, all right, man, let me get rolling here. We got a show to do.
Got it.
And I'll talk to you soon. Have a good time at the show tonight.
I definitely will.
Okay. There you go. Hardcore Shutterbug, Stephen Messina. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And we are sponsored by New York, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Women of the Pit, and Mad Vintage. Mad Vintage buys, sells, and collects band shirts, primarily hardcore. The DIY operation was started and is operated by a hardcore kid who just loves collecting and eventually got into the realm of vintage band shirts. They are always looking to buy out collections to either keep, sell, or trade. New shirts added daily at www.madvintage.com and posted on Instagram. Dig deep into that closet of crapola and reach out to them. Help me help you. Mad Vintage. Hey, I know people are just chiming in now about the show and mentioning Al Barile and stuff like that. And we're gonna maybe at the end of the show we'll circle back, but we're gonna continue on. We have some great guests on coming on, so let's get that going. And first up, here we go. Please welcome an American-born guitarist of Dominican descent, hailing from Corona, Queens. He's known for his work with the bands Demise, Asphyxiation, 25 to Life, Marauder, Madball, and currently Nailed to the Cross. Please welcome, coming at us from Neptune in the Garden State of New Jersey, Rob Bato Rosario. Hey, man.
What up, Drew? What up? Hello from Neptune.
How's things in the tune, bro?
It's good, man. It's good. Can't complain,
Yeah. Been down there a while now, huh?
Yeah, man. Probably it's over 20 years now. It's crazy, man. I've been here as long as I've lived in New York.
And did you move from Queens to down there, or was there an in between?
No, there was an in between. I lived in New Brunswick for a while with Loki.
Woo!
Man.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a madhouse, man. That was a madhouse.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And Neptune, do you ever see our friend Brian Baker down there in Neptune?
He lives right down the road from me.
Yeah, and Rob S. Chivaria lives down there too.
He lives in the other direction from me. They're both like within 5 minutes of my house.
And Laura Zeitlin's down there, right? Is she in Seabright?
I don't know her.
Okay.
Oh, he is. I know. One of the guys from Bouncing Souls lives right down the block too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Let's bring on your current bandmate and let's chop it up a little bit. All right, hold on. Let's see. Let's welcome back a bass player, guitar, and bass tech, hailing from Forest Hills, Queens, where I was born. As a musician, he is best known for his work with the band 25 to Life and currently Nailed to the Cross. A big supporter of this show, a great friend. Please welcome, coming at us from Los Angeles, California, Mr. Warren Lee. Hey, man.
What's going on, guys?
Are you in LA? I took a shot at that.
Yes, I am in Los Angeles right now. So
right. How's things in LA, brother?
Sunny. It's hectic.
Yeah?
We're like in the middle of moving, so it's kind of crazy right now. So
are you moving out there?
No, not permanently. So
okay. Yeah. That's right, Eddie Medina, fam. That's right. So
yeah, Eddie Medina. Shout out to Eddie Medina.
Oakland represent,
Yeah.
Let's we're gonna freestyle a lot today, but and we're gonna make our way sort of to the Nail to the Cross and what's going on with you guys and this new band. But let's just go here. Paul Stone says Warren's a top line guitar tech. Warren didn't. You as a tech, you've worked with a lot of people, including Slayer and Rancid. Didn't you just kind of recently kind of come out of retirement and kind of go out with some of your old friends? Tell us about that.
Yeah, you could blame it on Kerry King. He called me up to do the record for them a couple years ago, and I got into that. And then next thing in the middle of that, Rancid called me, and I was like, fuck, I'll just do a quick month in Europe. Why not? I haven't been there a couple years. It's with homies. And then next, Slayer came back, and then Rancid came, did shit. So yeah, they kind of pulled me out. But it's really only just summertime shit, right? I won't go out like it, any other time of the year. I've turned down a ton of shit. So it's really just those two bands I'll do shit for, right? So and it depends on how fucking long it is, right? So,
and I assume at this point too, these are guys that you know and love, and working with them is there's not a lot of surprises. There's not a lot of crap to deal with, and it's an environment that you feel comfortable in.
exactly, and Rancid did a long run last year, but like Slayer definitely, it's just shows. It's always just a handful of shows, so it's a lot easier to deal with, right? So.
Well, Slayer says, I mean, they're not going to tour. They're not going to.
Yeah,
tour,
no, we don't. Exactly. So. And
Wait, I'm actually looking for. Where's my Warren Lee and where's my Warren Lee and Jeff Hanneman picture? Here you go. Well, we'll do a couple of these real quick before we kind of get into the. But talking about Slayer, right?
There you go. In Japan.
Do you work specifically with Kerry, or do you do any of Gary's stuff? How does that work?
So I'm one of the. I think I'm the only. Somebody reminded me. I think I'm the only guy that's taking care of everybody on the stage, right? At one point, I worked for Kerry. At one point, I worked for Tom. At one point, I worked for Jeff. At one point, I worked for Gary. Currently,
Right.
I am working for Tom, doing bass. Right. So I think I'm the longest standing guy on the crew right now at this point. Right. So
Is I don't. I mean, I'm not trying to. Yeah. Wait. This is a great shot. Is one? I'm sure none of them are like easy at this, or incredibly difficult. Once you understand what they need and how it works, that you just deliver the goods, right?
yeah. I mean, you get to once you get to know the guys' personalities and then the instruments, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the rig, right?
Excuse me, but I am noticing the guitar that you're holding there is Gary Holt's guitar.
Yes.
And that's the guitar that Vincent Castiglia did in his blood.
Yes, sir. 14 vials, I believe, or something.
Yeah.
He grabbed.
Vincent Castiglia is in some deep shit these days, man.
I hope he's all right.
Did you hear about that?
No, what happened?
There was he got into some trouble, man. I hope he's okay.
Man, I don't want to hear this, man.
I hope he's okay. Basically,
I hope he's okay too.
Basically, without getting into the gory facts, they basically one thing led to another, and they came across literally like a firearm arsenal in his living space. And
But isn't he in Florida?
I think he moved back up here, and like the one thing led to the other, and they ended up finding like multiple firearms and lots of ammunition in his house, and I think that's a no-no in New York State these days.
It shouldn't be, but I get it.
Yeah. Where the fuck? Where's that great? Here it is. Could you? And I know we're bouncing around, but could you give us a little perspective? Could you tell us a little something about this guy that might not be out there, or people might not know, or maybe a recollection or a memory of him?
Man, he was a recluse, man. The guy he kept to himself, right? I never really hung out with Jeff much, right? So I'd see him on stage. We had he was very cool in between. I had a good relationship with him on stage, right? You know what I mean? The back and forth in between songs when he was over there, and changing guitars and stuff. That's when I got along with him the best, right? So I would see him once in a while after and before the show, but I mean, he was just a good dude, man. He just liked fucking, he was I don't know if people realize this. He was a punk guy, straight up.
Right.
He was really into punk, man. So
when we had Lombardo on the show recently, we talked about that, and he said like Jeff Hanneman is the guy that brought the punk sensibility to Slayer.
Sure. He was the influence in that sense, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He brought the hardcore punk to the band, right? There's pictures of him rocking the old agnostic front shirts, right? Yeah. Fucking AF shirts, He fucking. If I looked through his iPod one time, right, when we had iPods for music, and all he had was punk bands, literally. Punk bands, Typo Negative, and some Deftones, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. When we had, I know we talked about you were going to come on the Lombardo show, but it didn't work out. But Dave Lombardo was a great guest, man. He was so gracious. He was really great, man. He was a great guest.
He was. We called him Uncle Dave, right?
Right.
He was. His personality was a huge dynamic in, like, just the aura, right? At least for us, at least, so for the crew.
Yeah. So that said, let's Beto. Let's talk a little bit about just kind of setting the table. You were born in Elmhurst. You raised in Corona, right?
Yep, born in Elmhurst Hospital, raised in Corona, Queens.
Tell us about like how you got into the music thing and how you kind of fell in with those guys, with the crew early on.
It's crazy, man. Everything is like fate. So, I met Hoya in middle school. I would say it was probably I'm guessing 83 or 84, somewhere around there. We were friends before we. What's that?
Newtown.
Yeah, no. We met in IS-61 in middle school, actually. But then what happened was, while one day I moved from one part of Corona to another part of Corona. I remember I was like, yo, you want to walk? Let's walk to my new spot, see where it's at. So he walks me home, and I tell him, I go, this is my block, and he's like, oh shit, really? Because I live on the other side of the tracks. And I was like, get out of here. So from then on, what ended up happening with that was that, Hoya's brother Dave, rest in peace. He was always into hardcore, and he was always into metal and stuff like that. I go into Hoya's house, and he was always listening to the stuff. And that's pretty much how I got into it, was through Dave. Dave got all of us into it.
So it was Hoya's older brother Dave, God rest his soul, that kind of got all the younger,
that one guy started a whole wave of bands, literally.
Is that right?
By introducing everyone to all these bands, right?
Right.
Yeah. He right? Beto, Hoya.
Yeah,
all these guys that end up playing in bands, right? Dave was the guy that showed all these guys the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dave was the one. Yeah, so you figured 1984, Dave was already into this stuff, and I was like 11 years old, and I'm hearing all this crazy music coming out of his room. Hoya already knew more about it than I did, but then that was the beginning, and now we're in middle school, and Hoya and I are like, yo, we should start a band, but we don't play instruments. And then originally he was like, yo, I'll play bass. And I was like, yo, I'll play drums. But then I had nowhere where do you play drums in Corona?
So is that how it went? It was like, okay, like handing out cards, like, okay, well, you're bass player, I ended up being a singer because I kind of had the biggest mouth,
Yeah. You choose your path, but we knew that anybody could do it because we had Rob, rest in peace, straight ahead he lived down the road from us, and we'd always see him walking with his gig bag going up to the 7 train. And we're like, these dudes could do it. We could do it too.
Right.
Hoy ended up getting a bass from his mom. I think she bought him like a JB player. I don't even know. It's like a fake Fender. And my mom bought me a Harmony guitar from Fingerhut. And that's how we got started,
And was this the first band? Was it Demise?
We had another band called, and everybody used this name, but for a little short bit, but we didn't play any shows, called Out of Bounds. And for a little bit, our boy Double O was singing. That was wild. I think we only had one song called Misconception. Yeah, then he stepped down and he was like, you guys should do something else. And that's when we started, we met the rest of the fellas at the Heights, and there was, Richie played drums, Jeer was down to sing, and then eventually, Cheeky came in. But we ran into those dudes, and they already had their little circle of bands, and then we just merged with them, and that's how we ended up getting Demise. But the idea from Demise was me and Hoya chilling in like 6th or 7th grade, wanting to be in a band, like the rest of the guys in our neighborhood that were older than us.
Sure. This is you guys at CBGB. I can't tell. Is that Cheeky singing? I can't.
It is. Yeah, I can't stop staring at my shorts though.
I
know. Yeah, that's Cheeky. And that's
Yeah.
Hoyer's fake Fender bass. That's that JB there. And
How old were you guys there, you think?
I maybe 17.
Wow, that's awesome.
Maybe 17. Yo, Drew, that guitar there, that guitar
yeah.
that I was playing was made up of like 3 different guitars. My boys, I would just take parts from their guitars. And
It was a Frankenstein guitar.
Yeah, I think I had
that
a
was like Matty Henderson's that one guitar too. He played on the AF tour, right? Same shit. It was like a Frankenstein of like 2 different guitars or whatever.
Yeah, that thing had an Fender Spire neck, an Area Pro body, and an ultrasonic pickup.
Jorts. Nice jorts.
Jorts, yeah. Good jorts. Yo, that was a shit back in the day, right?
Jorts. Let me see if I have another one.
Warren, I'm gonna save them for you, bro.
Yo, listen, that was never the shit back in the day, bro. You just rock them wax shorts, dog.
Yeah, right. Who's playing drums in this shot of you in Demise? Who's this playing drums?
That's Richie. That's our original drummer, Richie Navy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. That's in Pennsylvania. I want to say
Gorilla
Jamie,
Biscuits, right?
Yeah, that might have been with Gorilla Biscuits over at Ultrasound in Reading.
Nice Charvel.
Yeah, that wasn't my guitar. I'm guessing I broke a string and somebody let me use it, but it looks good with the Overkill shirt, right?
Lenny Crazy Eddie says, some old Dominican style with the shorts.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, that's some uptown shit, bro. I was gonna say that's some uptown shit, dog.
That was like whatever I could leave the house with.
It was another world. Now, of course, this photo's been circulated, but there you go.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's the oldest one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old one.
I have that shirt somewhere. I got to dig that shirt out, man. Fuck.
The Demise shirt.
Is that the original? Is that the original Demise shirt?
Yeah. I have. The one I have is the original one, right?
Yeah, and, you got the OG.
Yeah, and that's the one I wore on the first 25 to Life European tour, right? So
it's dude. If it still looks good, it'd be a miracle. That thing's got to be.
Yeah, I think it does because I didn't wear it, right? I got to dig it out somewhere.
Hey, Beto, Ray Hogan asks, Vintage Overkill, who was your favorite guitarist? Like as a very young person, as a young teenager, what guitarists were you really?
It depends because for rhythm guitar it was always James Hetfield, like for everybody. But when it came to lead guitar work, it'd be Alex Skolnick from Testament.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Alex Skolnick.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for lead guitar, it would always be Alex Skolnick. And then there was other guys. For a bit I was into Marty Friedman a lot, but I can't play like that dude at all, man.
That's because he uppicks. That's why he uppicks everything. That's just crazy.
Does he?
Watch his videos. Everything's an upstroke for him, man. It's crazy, bro. How do you play like that? Upstroking, it's metal. You're supposed to downstroke everything. What the fuck? Like it's crazy.
He's got a wild style, but I can never get with the timing of his solos. I can never get the bends the way that Marty gets them. But I always look to Alex Skolnick, even with those like Demise solos. It would always come from, not that I could play like Skolnick, but that's where the inspiration would always come from.
I worked for Alex Skolnick for one tour, and his playing is like he picks, like the way he picks is fucking sick. Like it's like he hits like one note like 4 times with a pick. Like it's I can't explain it. It's like
there's like weird. those guys that are like they're like freaks. Guys that could pick like that, like
they're just phenomenal.
There's a couple of them. Like I'm like, huh?
Yeah, they're just phenomenal players, right? So
yeah,
he's a master. Like taught by Satriani, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all those guys that were taught by Satriani, they came out being like amazing guitarists. We got Steve Vai.
Steve Vai, absolutely.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, is this now we're kind of skipping around. I'm not sure what happened. What happened first, but is it, and we could bounce around a little bit, but is it that like at a certain point Demise ends and both you guys end up in 25 to Life?
You start and I'll finish it, right?
Yes and no. I mean, by the time that I joined 25 to Life, the Demise had been broken up for a bit. I was actually playing an Asphyxiation and 25 to Life at the same time for a little bit. And then 25 to Life was so damn busy that I had to stop playing an Asphyxiation because it seemed like 25 to Life was playing 3 to 4 shows a week. So even when we were home, it was like we were on tour. Right, Warren?
Yeah, we played a lot of shows, man. We played a lot of shows with that band.
So let's set the table here, Warren. Because I know Beto, your stint in Madball came after 25 to Life, right?
Yes, yeah.
After it was Marauder. I remember Marauder, Madball. But let's deal with the 25 to Life thing here, Warren. Sort of, how did that come about? How'd you end up in there? How'd you get in there? Give us a roadmap of kind of your time in 25 to Life.
I played in a band called Out of Line from Queens. There was 2 Out of Lines, one from Brooklyn, one from Queens. We came kind of from the Bond Street circuit, right? Same as like Without a Cause, Close Call before they became District 9. Without a Cause before they became Fahrenheit 451, right? I came from that circuit. Dude knew who I was, right? So he called me and said, "Hey, man, Frank, the OG bass player, quit. He didn't want to play in the band no more. So they needed a bass player. Fucking the singer, the dumbass singer, everyone knows who we're talking about. He knew who I was, so he called me. He said, "Hey, come try out for the band." Right? I guess he was, pushing for me or whatever. But it was the rest of these guys. I came in for rehearsal, met them, jammed with them. I thought, I'm not getting this because I came in, I didn't even know any songs. I knew like 3 parts. You know what I mean? I was fucking right. I just came unprepared. You know what I mean? And next, they're like, "Yo, you're playing a show with us." I was like, "What?" Okay. Played, started playing a couple shows, learned the songs, whatever. And then at one point they were like, "Yo, you're in the band." Okay, cool. So I stayed in the band, right? That's kind of how it worked, right?
And Beto, you were in the band already, right?
I was in the band. Yeah, I was in the band with Frankie. And Frankie kind of suddenly left. He had to bounce really quick. But I remember that Rick said
suddenly he left.
Yeah, he had to leave. It was literally like one day he just disappeared. I didn't know that he was leaving. But I'm sure he had his reasons. I forget exactly what it was. But he
hated the singer. That's why he left.
More than that, but that too. But Rick was basically like, "Yo, I'm bringing in this dude to try out," and he brought Warren in. And to me, it was all about Warren and I clicked right away. As soon as we got in the room, I was like, "This is my dude right here." And from then on, I mean, shit, Warren, what year was that? 94, 95? I don't know.
Something like that, 94, 95. And then I just stayed in the band, right? So they just never got rid of me. So.
It's crazy too. I always remember it was always Warren and Gennady hanging out. And in that one picture you just showed, I see Gennady was in the background too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, bro. He was with me everywhere. Every show we played, he was with us, man. Fuck.
Yeah. So did you guys ever cross paths before you ended up in 25 to Life together? Did you peripherally?
No.
Was it like,
when I walked into rehearsal? When I walked into rehearsal was the first time I had met Beto and Fred, but I had met Harry before.
Right.
Harry knew me from shows or whatever, and that's it. I had never met anyone else. You know what I mean? I never met Fred. So that was the first time I walked in. I met those guys the first time. And like Beto said, we clicked right away. We started playing, and we just kind of like, personality wise, we clicked. So
I know. This is a shot in another era in better times. Yeah. But I mean, there must have been some good times. There must have been some good times, right?
Warren? Not with that dude.
No,
nah, man. Everything was always separate. The band always did shit, and he always did shit on his own. Right? We always traveled together. He always traveled on his own. You know what I mean? Like obviously when we toured, we went like on the bus, you know what I mean? But like even then, like we would hang out on our own. Like me and Beto, Harry would hang out with Fred, but we never really hung out with him, right? As from what I recall. I never, you know what I mean? I never sat down and like ate with him or you know what I mean? Hung out and sat and had a conversation with the guy. You know what I mean? It
was a business relationship.
Yeah, I just tolerated because he was a singer in the band I played in, right? So I had to deal with him. You know what I mean? So
Warren, remember that night though, bro? They kept bringing us a pre-rolled blunts at that bar.
The guy in Holland because he wanted to. I think that was the first time we like got that guy to smoke blunts, right? Or roll blunts or whatever. You know
Oh,
what I
dude,
mean?
I never smoked so much in my life. I think
That was the first time in Holland, right? In a coffee shop.
Right.
So, but yeah,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
yeah, no, we never, Drew, I don't recall ever hanging out with that. That's why when at the end in California, when Beto left the band and I left the band like a week later, it blew up in California because we actually had to spend time together, right? And a bunch of shit happened, and everyone was just like, yo, I don't want to be here anymore. This sucks.
Sure.
Yeah. But I told first person I told was Warren because I was like, that's my dude. I was like, let me tell him what I'm about to do. And
Yeah, and then I pretty much left after that. I love like because at that point Harry had left, you know what I mean, and it was just Fred, and I'm like, I love Fred, but dude, I can't do this without Beto, so I left.
It was time. It was time to move on. And Beto, you left soon after, right?
Well, no, I left before Warren.
You
I had
left
that
before
first.
Warren.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told Warren
yeah.
before I made it official. I told Warren, I was like, yo, check it out. I'm gonna bounce. It's up to you if you want to stick around. You know,
I
and
played one more show.
Yeah.
Played
like one more show, and then I basically, then I told this dude, I was like, yo, this is it, man. I'm breaking out, leaving the band, and they still had Fred, so that I knew it was gonna work out. I wasn't trying to like shut the band down or nothing, but it was clearly time for me to move on.
Yeah, that's what happens. And I know the timeline might be skewed a little bit, but Beto, you ended up in Madball, and you played on the Hold It Down record.
Yeah.
And yo, shout out to Fred Mess, man, for always holding it down all those years, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big shout out to him, dude.
Is this Madball in the business in this shot?
It is, yeah, it is. They were chilling with us over there in England.
And that's not me. That's my brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Royce, his brother, Royce used to tour manage us. And
Right.
And then
he
you got
managed
Eric.
the band too. He managed the band for a minute, right? For a long time, I think too.
He did it all, bro. He did it all. Those were good times, man. And that was a short tour. I want to say we were only out there for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. And that was
I recognize Steve Whale on the left. And is that our old friend Martin that used to tour manage? Yeah,
yes.
That's that kid Martin that used to tour manage for MA. Huh?
Dude, he tour manages like huge arena stadium pop acts now. Martin,
no,
right? And he actually he was Slayer's tour manager. He was Slayer's tour manager last summer. So yeah, but now he does like 1975. Like he does big shit, man. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He went a long way, bro.
Yes. Dude, shout out to him, right?
Who was playing drums on that tour, Beto?
It was Darren.
That was the Hold It Down lineup, right? So
yeah, Darren, right.
Yeah.
Darren.
Yeah, that was probably not long after the record came out when we went out there to Europe, and that's the lineup that played on that record.
Wow, that's great. That's a great.
That was way after the record came out.
No, not that much, bro. Not within 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, it was. Well,
yeah,
it was a break after the record came out. Remember?
Yeah, definitely a break.
Here's another one, I guess, from when you guys were in the band together, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Looks like
me always smoking the weed. The Beto only smoked and indulged that time in Holland, right? I was always the fucking weed guy in the band, so
that's it.
For some reason, I
still am the only weed guy in the band, so
right. Makes sense. So Beto, you do the Madball thing. I know you did the Marauder thing.
Yeah, thanks to you.
I got you into Marauder.
Yeah, you're the one that called me up.
So you almost signed us to Drew. You don't remember this? You almost signed 25 to Life to Century Media, right?
Oh man,
you almost managed us at one point, right? You know what I mean?
Could you imagine if I remembered everything?
We had a whole meeting at your house. It was crazy.
We had a meeting. We had a meeting at my house here in Manhattan on 71st Street in downstairs in the studio.
In your apartment, I think it was. Yeah. For 25 to Life. Yeah.
You both were in the band at the time?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We were all at that meeting at your house. It was, I forget where, but it was your apartment somewhere in Manhattan. and we
No,
all came. The whole
it was
band came.
71st Street off Broadway. It was on the first floor off the lobby. You step down into the apartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Because
you
I remember
go.
you had Jerry
And the entire band showed up, and you were supposed to sign us to Century Media, but
And
for
what
whatever
happened?
reason,
What happened?
dude, I don't even remember what happened. I think everyone started fighting, right? So we all left the
Yeah.
meeting like, "Fuck this, man!" Like,
Right.
Yeah, I think the band started having an argument.
yeah, we did because we didn't know what we were doing, and we went in without talking to each other first. You know what I mean?
You know what?
And then,
I'm vaguely remembering this. I think it was Fred that had like some weird problem. If I remember
I
correctly,
don't remember.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was probably Fred not wanting Rick to take everything, right? So
Yeah, there was some sort there. You know, somebody asked,
that's
was
probably
that after the Master Killer album? Probably. I mean,
yes,
Century Media, I signed a couple of bands that were on Century Media. Marauder, I got Furia 5 onto Century Media, Sub-Zero, the Gothic band.
and you almost had us.
Hysteria.
You almost had us, right? So
Yeah, who's who's to say, but okay, yeah. I mean, those were fast times, but you know what I was talking about the other day that was interesting, and you're talking about fighting back then, and someone's bringing up Master Killer, and talking about Marauder the other day, and it's like back then I remember with Marauder at least, and I don't want to assume with you guys too, but the realization everybody that the recording costs, the merchandise, the tour support, the music video was all recoupable. Like there was this moment of what the band has to pay that back. That's fucking bullshit. Like that and I remember
that's how the business works.
Right. But at the time,
you know what? So I think a lot of it is, man. Unfortunately, there was never, to me, at least in my point of view, there was never a person that got far enough to understand a lot of shit to teach the people downwards, right? And that were coming up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So no one and back then got taught right. Everyone fucking signed shitty contracts to fucking Roadrunner, right? You know what I mean? Because who else was giving you a fucking contract at that point, right? But,
Right,
Those were the first contracts we signed in our lives. You know what I'm saying? We signed record contracts before we got mortgages.
Yeah.
Or before we had credit cards. Or
exactly. It was like,
but
nobody knew shit about getting lawyers and nothing like that.
But I remember the realization.
Sign it.
Yeah, I remember the realization in Marauder that we had to pay back the merchandise. Like, like you go there and like they gave us boxes of merchandise and we were like, what is it? That's bullshit. We have to pay that back. Like we were actually felt like that was bullshit, and like
because at that point too, you got to remember, dude, we were fucking kids too, right? We still had like street mentality, like, you know what I mean? We're still hanging out on corners and shit. It was like we didn't know any better, man.
Yeah.
So
everything's got to get paid back. It's just the band has to stay, strong enough to allow for the label to make their money back. So it's the band's job to stay afloat.
And we've said this many times. A lot of people sign that crummy record contract, right? Whether it was Roadrunner or Century Media, and a lot of bands work their way through it, right? I mean, it's just it's not a death sentence.
That really just determined how strong of a band you were, right? If you could work through that shit and get out of it, and a lot of the bands did. Madball did it, right? Fucking, you know what I mean?
Madball did it.
Right?
Typo Negative did it. Life of Agony did it. Sepultura did it. On and on and on. Plenty of bands did it.
Yeah.
And listen, again, this is not to talk shit on Roadrunner.
Metallica did it.
Sure. Listen, and again, Roadrunner, not to talk shit up, dude, they put out a whole era of music that fucking, a wave of heavy music that fucking, you know what I mean? They were a big part of that. But listen, the reality of it is they fucking gave those bands shitty contracts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess that's part of the deal, though, right? That's part of their job as a record company. You know what I mean?
Was there a good contract to sign back then somewhere? There was.
Well, if you had some kind of knowledge, you could at least negotiate the shitty parts out of that contract. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because
Well,
you know, if you took the shitty elements out of that contract, it would be a decent contract for a first band, for a first contract to sign,
I
right? So
tried, and I will say this: they weren't having it because what they did was they cross collateralized the record with the merchandise with the
sure,
publishing,
sure,
and
sure. So what then?
they
You know what?
wouldn't.
At that point, the only thing of as a band you could do is just blow the fuck up and get into a position where you can renegotiate with them, right?
That's
So
right.
that's it. You
That's
know,
it.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
or in the case of Biohazard, right? You kind of they. I
that's what
mean,
they did. They blew up big enough to renegotiate. Slipknot did
keep in
it. You know what I
mind,
mean?
keep in mind the record contract in the first record that Biohazard put out was one of the all-time terrible worst deals of all time. They got totally ripped off. To this day, they've never seen a penny. Like so. The bands. Well, I guess what I'm getting at is bands can persevere. You can persevere and make it through. And Madball did it, like you said.
There's a lot of bands that did it, you know. You just got to figure it out, right? Some bands and a lot of bands didn't do it, right? So
Yeah, and Little Roy from Downset says Mercury gave us a great deal. Alec Peters was the A&R guy. Yeah, I mean Downset was a great band, and you caught the eye of Alec Peters, and Downset, Downset signed a good deal. I mean early on, you didn't, but you probably signed the same fuck deal, Yeah, Fear Factory did it. That's right. Fear Factory
everyone,
did it, and
listen,
Blue Grape. Blue Grape made bank. Blue Grape, for
sure.
those was the
The merch company,
merchandise
yes,
arm
that you
of
signed away
Roadrunner.
too in that contract that you just signed. So
Yeah,
you signed away everything basically that you're not supposed to sign away, which is publishing and
yeah,
merch, right? So
yeah. You're publishing in your merch, and they weren't having it any
all
other
you
way.
young bands out there, listen,
Yeah,
don't sign your publishing and merch away. Keep it.
it's a
Bless
it's
you.
a new world. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, who knows what kind of deals are being put on the table now in this day and age? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I don't even know. Who knows? It's digital. It's all fucking digital.
Yeah, it's all digital, and how many, what your social media, it's all
Streams.
social. Like
How many
Mike
streams you
Gitter,
get?
Mike Gitter could tell us. I mean, social media, it's all like if a label is interested in a band, they go look at their social media. Who are these guys?
Absolutely.
What are,
It's
yeah,
a different time. It's a different era. People can hate on it. Listen, just like when the days of going to concerts with our fucking demo tapes, handing them out to people are gone, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
That's what we did, right? So
Sure.
now you have the internet. So it
Yeah.
opens up that, you can still do that, but it probably won't be as effective because who the fuck has a
Sure.
tape player,
Yeah. Yeah.
Believe it or not, the new generation likes cassettes.
Sure,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do. But like I don't know, man. Demos are, I love
Yeah.
demos, right? So demos were the shit. That's how you
All I
fucking got
remember
known.
was those things getting stuck in the freaking car, having to put a pencil through them and rewind them that way. And
Yeah.
remember the freaking Carcass cassette we had for Heartwork in your car? How effed up that freaking thing got?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you got fucking with auto reverse.
Yeah, a few songs that sounded all freaking wavy and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's back then, you put a cassette in and it would get stuck and you'd listen to it in the car for a year,
Yeah,
Oh,
believe it or not, I did it.
Carcass, man, Heartwork. That shit was holy fuck. That got played on every goddamn drive to every show we played for like at least 2-3 months.
You guys in your generation, right? I'm a little bit older, but I got down with Madball early on and did those videos and this and that. But you guys were very influenced by, dare I say it, like, I don't want to use the word death metal, but the obituaries, the
Oh no,
suffocations.
me and Beto are definitely the metal guys, man. For fucking sure, dude. Hell fucking yeah. We always got even to this day I get, I'm always the metal guy, right? So
yeah.
It's really, I mean, I love hardcore, but for me, I always listen to metal more. It's and I think a lot of people in hardcore do, but they won't admit it. You know what I'm saying? But in reality,
so go ahead, Beto. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I hear it in all the bands. So I mean, anybody that says, "Oh, no, I don't listen to metal," like every hardcore band I listen to these days, I can hear the metal in there. So 100%. If they're not getting it from a metal band, they're getting it from another hardcore band that's influenced by a metal band.
I think also for me and Beto for the metal stuff, it's because of the guitars, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We're fucking guitar driven guys, right? Like we love guitar playing or whatever. So metal has the more impressive guitar playing. So I think that's what would drive us. You know what I mean? I mean, me and Beto having conversations about bands, it always ends up being about tones and guitar stuff, right? You know what I mean? Well, this band uses this band sound, this guy plays like that, and fucking whatever. It always comes down to guitars, you know. So I think that's where me and Beto's love, or at least our attraction to metal comes from. You know, that's, and you can hear it in the Fred too, man. Fucking listen to the riffs and you know, all the riffs in 25 to Life, and you know, when you guys get to hear the new shit, Nailed to the Cross stuff, it's very, you know, there's metal influence in it, right? Fred loves metal too, right? So
you take the metal and you give it, and you use the hardcore, you give it the hardcore attitude, and that's the formula right there. You know, so
well,
we
also
listen, but the
Harry
hardcore
gives it the hardcore flavor too. You know what I mean? Because his drumming, his style, right? You know what I mean? So hardcore. Harry's a big, fucking huge hardcore, huge history in hardcore, right? So
100%. And I was around for the original crossover thing, you know, with bands like Agnostic Front and Cro-Mags and Leeway. But I guess what I'm getting at is you guys kind of brought, even you call it metal. To me, as a bit of an older guy, you guys brought like almost like a death metal sensibility to hardcore. Was it metal? You guys brought like, you know, death metal sensibilities into hardcore, and that was unique.
I want to give that credit more to Confusion, right? They were, I think, given more of that. I think our riffs were just more just metal. You know what I mean? But we had a hardcore like vibe, and you know, Harry behind the drums just gave it a, you know, a more of a hardcore feel to it, right? And then obviously, you know, the fucking singer or whatever, being a hardcore guy or whatever instead of a metal dude. You know?
What it is, though, Drew, too, is timing. Like the bands that you mentioned, that era of metal was more thrash metal. So even like Crumbsuckers and all that, you know, the metal they were listening to was thrash. By the time you get into the late 80s, early 90s, that's when all the Earache Records stuff was coming out, and that was more death metal. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I grew up listening to Celtic Frost, or Celtic Frost, whatever people want to call it, Hanneman. I mean, but then later on, it was Morbid Angel, freaking Obituary, Death.
Morbid Angel and Obituary, Deicide were huge influences on me musically, right? So
that's
right.
Cool.
I can fucking recite every lyric for the first two Deicide records, right? So
hey
Obituary,
Beto,
Morbid Angel, all of them.
Beto, what was the story that your parents freaking out on you because of the Celtic Frost record?
Yes.
Well, tell us that story. That's a great story. Tell us that story. Yeah. We're gonna take a break after that, but this is a great story. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So what ended up, my mom was real concerned because, you know, I was probably the first Hispanic kid in the neighborhood listening to metal, and my mom ends up finding the Tumegatherion record, and that record, you know, it's got the Giger painting with Jesus as a slingshot. And she finds that record, and you know, she hears the music going on, so she calls a priest at a radio station, and she basically starts crying to the priest, telling the priest that she thought, I don't know, that I was possessed or something, that I was listening to satanic music. So now everybody in my neighborhood, they're drinking their coffee in the morning and eating their crackers, and they listen to this freaking show. You know what I mean? So now I'm walking out the house, and I don't know what's going on. I didn't know my mom's called this. I'm walking out, the neighbor's like, you really should be ashamed of yourself for what you're doing to your mother. I'm like, what I do to my mom? You know what I mean? And then I kind of find out that she called that show really concerned because on top of that, I was listening to Hell Awaits a lot around that time. And you know, the beginning of Hell Awaits, you know, the freaking crazy demonic stuff going on, and my mom would hear that coming out of the room. Yeah, she went, like I saw somebody write Satanic Panic. It's true. You know, during those years, all parents were afraid that their kids were turning into devil worshippers. I just wanted to listen to cool shit.
Hold on, I just grabbed the record cover. Just so I had to find it. It's this is it, right? Boom.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm getting it late, but I only see a spinning circle. But I'm guessing, which one is it? Is it Megatherion?
Yeah.
Dope. Dude, that's one of the dopest covers.
Yeah, that's Jesus
Geiger,
is a slingshot.
So
there it is.
Hard as fuck. So
yeah.
Dope record too, man. One of my favorite records.
Yeah. That's pretty great. Your mom saw that and was like freaked out.
Yeah, she bugged out, man. And I had also the Hellhammer record before that, and that cover not as bad as that, but she saw the satanic stuff.
Hey, speaking of which, Hoya Rock says, "Will we get a Nail to the Cross EP?" Oh, we'll get to that. Hold on. Yeah. Will we get a Nail to the Cross EP, and will it come with the combination platter with the roast pork and egg roll?
I think
yes,
it's gonna be.
It will. Tell him, fuck yeah, it will. But he's got to fucking play on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got to make an appearance on it.
I like this. I like Chris Michael X says, the joys of listening to metal with religious parents.
Yeah, Catholics too. Back in the day, forget it, man.
Yep. Hey, let's take a sponsor break. Let's get this out of the way, and let's come back and let's talk about the reformation of 25 to Life and how you guys are forging ahead as Nailed to the Cross. All right. We'll see you. Right. We'll see you in a minute. All right. There you go. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guests today are good friends and supporters, Beto and Warren Lee. We're going to do some sponsor stuff, talk about some upcoming shows, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about 25 to Life, and we're going to talk about what's happening with Nailed to the Cross, which is very, very exciting. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Will that be cash or in debt?
Do you mean debit?
Yes. Sorry. Another eternally satisfied customer.
Yo, what's happening? I'm out here at one of our all-ages Sunday matinees on the Bowery. I hope that you are enjoying today's show. I just want to let you know that the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live needs your support. Please step up. There is a Patreon page that has a lot of unique program. Shows are announced there first. Lots of good stuff. There's a PayPal address right there on the screen if you want to make a contribution. There's also a super chat function. You could do that. But the bottom line is this show exists because of your support. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. Thank you for all your support through the years. Back to the show.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth. Society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their fucking...
And we're back. This is it. You've arrived. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Hey, want to mention some upcoming shows this Wednesday. Yes, in a couple of days, photographer Jay Blakesberg will be on the show talking about his new book, Punk. I'm excited to talk to Jay. Taking a lot of really classic, great photographs. We're going to go deep with him. This is going to be great. After that is one that's near and dear to my heart, of course, because we're just putting out the Greg Smith book, the London 77 book. Greg is going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about the book. The book is on sale. Cortex has the book already and is shipping the book already. Generation's going to have it in a couple of weeks. Greg is going to be on the show. Lots going on. Chris Golis from Bulldoze will be on April 23rd, my Polish brother. Des Cadena and Bob Lee of Astral Jets. Of course, Des having played previously in Black Flag, currently in Flag, and playing in the Misters. The New Music Show, Wednesday, May 7th, with Greg from Death Before Dishonor and Chris from Crazy in the Brains. Freddie Madball's coming on May 11th, celebrating the release of True to the Game. Speaking of Roadrunner, the Roadrunner years. Chris Beatty. Ooh, we're waiting for this one. Chris Beatty, formerly of Hatebreed, will be on the show Sunday, May 18th. I'm excited about this one. It is one of our rare side trips episode. Michael Falzerano, formerly of Hot Tuna, New Riders of the Purple Sage, currently the English Town Project and the Airplane Family. I'm really looking forward to this one. Our friend and supporter Don Capria will be back on the show. Former drummer of Isaac and the Scarheads, just directed a great slasher horror film called Director's Cut, starring Louis Lombardi, who is in this. You may know him from The Sopranos and 24 and Suicide Kings. So that's coming up Wednesday, the 4th. Of course, yes. Just a reminder: please support the show on Patreon. That's the way to do it. There is also a super chat function like Michael LaRoche just did. Do it for a couple bucks. It comes through. If you have a question for the guest, I can't miss it. So if you're a renegade and you're out there and you don't want to get wrapped up with PayPal or with Patreon, please do a super chat. Just support the just support the show. All right. Want to mention a few new patrons. Bazooka Joe and Daniel Mendez. Welcome aboard and thank you for the support. Also, hey, there's room on the boat for one more sponsor. So if you have a product or something you want to give a push to, reach out. Be a sponsor of the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. So that said, let's clear the deck. What the heck? Everything seems to be cool. Is that right? Hi, kids. Just saw DRI in Boise. Danny Cole. How's it been, Drew? Do you want a one-word answer? How's it been? It's been good. And I'm glad you're here, Danny Cole. So that said, going to see Hi-Fi Murder on Salt Lake City next weekend. Okay, good. That said, let's bring our guests back on. Beto and Warren Lee. There you go. Let me see. Let me put you guys back the way I like you. There you go.
Well, that little OCD there, huh?
What's that?
A little OCD there.
I don't know. You know, it's things. It took a while for it took a long time to sort of settle into something that I really feel like that I, like doing, love, and like I'm good now. This is the way I like it. Our friend Heg says, "Yo, Warren, it's been a long time since we've chiefed at a matinee." Is that like chief, like smoking a big peace pipe at a matinee? Is that what that means?
No, not a peace pipe, but a joint. Next
joint,
time, I'll definitely try to make it out to a matinee and chief out with you again, Ken. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's tease it. Speaking of matinees, just you're gonna get it's a quick tease. Because we're not there yet, but here comes the quick tease. Speaking of matinees, boom! Sunday, August 31st, Demise and Nailed to the Cross. But that's all you're going to see right now. Anyway, let's talk about.
That's a good one.
Let's talk about. Hey, Marla. Hey, nice to see you, hun. I hope things are well out on the West Coast. Marla Standing Owl. Nice to see you back with us on the show. Let's talk a little bit about Beto. I think you were there kind of. How did 25 to Life kind of came back around again with a different singer a couple years ago? Kind of walk us through that and then how things are kind of coming back around again.
Yeah, so I think it was like 2017, the band reunited. Originally, they reunited without me, actually. It was supposed to be the Strength and Unity lineup. Seth called Stickman. He got him in the band. Stickman was somebody that I was hanging out with a lot back then. So they asked me to join the band, and we did it for a little while. I would say we did it for about a year, maybe a year or two, before it finally dissolved or fizzled out. This time we wanted to do it a little bit differently. So this time it's the older lineup, the lineup that did most of the touring back in the day with me, Warren, Fred,
all the touring.
The real deal that people remember back in the day when they were going to shows. Of course, we couldn't do it with the old singer. You know what I mean? So we had J-Wave for a little while, but that changed.
He got really busy. You know what I mean? Bayway just released a record, right? You know what I mean? So he's just too busy to do it. Like I want to say Beto, he showed up to like maybe one rehearsal. You know what I mean? So like that show we played in Philadelphia, he never even came to rehearsal. You know what I mean? He killed it.
Is this that show?
This is at the Black Box in Rutherford.
We did like 2 songs.
Yeah. Jay's got once his studio started taking off, then it was really hard for him to do the band. You know what I mean? And
he's got a lot of stuff. Bayway, the studio.
I didn't even know he had a studio. I just figured just Bayway alone, the way that they're blowing up, would just. I mean, when you're blowing up, man.
He couldn't do it, man. He just had to step down. He just didn't have the time for us. You know what I mean? So.
That makes sense. And so keep us going. So what happens from there?
From there, well, we've got he had to step down, but the show must go on. So we do have a few shows, I believe. What is it, one or two that we have as 25 to Life?
Just one right now.
Just one,
right?
Okay.
So just this one. So basically, what happened was. At one point, we all decided before Jay left the band, we decided to change the name, right, collectively, and we changed the name of the band, and but we were still obligated to do this show because it's Mike personally asked us. It's Brick by Brick's record release party.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we're doing that show is 25 to Life, and everything else at this point is going to be nailed to the cross, right? So 25 to Life, maybe we'll pop up here and there. Let's see what happens, right? So
yeah. But it's good to be back with Harry, Fred, Warren. It's been so many freaking years, and this is the lineup that shit, man. The lineup that was playing 3 to 4 times a freaking week. Everybody that was around back then, these are the guys that they remember.
And this is, I guess Jay's in this one, but this is pretty much a recent 2025 shot, right? There's Joe Hardcore in the middle of it, right?
Yeah, there you go. That was the first show we played, like first full show we played as a band, right? As 25 Live.
That's at the church, right? I can't see the picture yet, but I'm guessing that's
in Philly. Yep. So Joe, was fucking cool enough to book us with Strife, who's gracious enough to play with us or whatever, right? So that was a good show, man. So that was fun.
Yeah. And
Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Super
Bowl Sunday in Philly when Philly was playing next to So
we're freaking crazy, right? Play a show Super Bowl Sunday and the freaking Philly's playing it.
So the 125 to Life show that you're playing, I'm trying to dig up that flyer again. Hold on, just so as a reference. 20. Here we go. New show, 25 to Life. Okay, so this 125 to Life show that's coming up Saturday, April 26th. You are doing. Who's singing?
Beto. Why don't you tell everyone?
Let the cat out the bag. Our boy Ivan. Ivan's going to be singing for that show.
Everyone knows him from Manipulate and Scarhead, right? So,
yeah.
So Ivan from Manipulate and Scarhead is doing vocals for this upcoming 25 to Life show at Empire Live
He's
upstate.
more than
Yeah.
ready. We just jammed
He's
again last night.
if from this point on, whatever shows 25 to Life plays on, he's going to be the singing.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
we'll
So-
get pictures and all that stuff going on on the Instagram at one point. So everyone's been
So-
busy trying to juggle two bands at this point, right? So
Yeah. So yeah, that is upstate New York. That is Albany.
that's in Albany and at Empire, April 26th. It's Brick by Brick's record release. It's coming out. Their album's coming out on Upstate Records. If you haven't gotten tickets, come out. Whatever. They're also doing like a VIP package thing as well. If you go to their website and check all that stuff out. But it's a pretty cool deal, right? It involves whiskey and all this other shit, right? So.
So there is a separation from 25 to Life and Nailed to the Cross. Why don't you tell us about that, Warren? Like, how did this come about? And moving forward is Nailed to the Cross. What does that mean?
So once we decided to change the name of the band, we had to figure out, okay, we didn't want to keep the lineups the same besides, us, right? The four of us, Harry, Beto, Fred, and I. We wanted to, we didn't want to we just wanted to keep it separate. So we got Ivan to sing for 25 to Life, which is perfect. And we got a different singer for Nailed to the Cross, who we won't say right now. You have to come out to our first show, May 31st in Long Island with the legendary Vision of Disorder.
Right. So the first show with the new singer for Nailed to the Cross is May 31st at the Paramount, the big room in Huntington. It's the VOD big reunion show with it's VOD, Incendiary.
That's a big deal too, right? They're getting back together. I don't think they play a lot of shows, right? So
yeah.
And was it the Sky Came Falling, right? So it's going to be a good show, man. So it's going to be our first show. So come out to that, and if you want to find out who the singer is. Listen,
you know what? I'll tell you. I know who the singer is.
Well, because you.
I happen to know who
you had a hand in whatever, right? So.
And I will say this. This is going to be great. This is a great Nailed to the Cross has a great singer, and people are going to be like, wow. So I'm real excited. I'm real excited for you guys, man, because this is a good one. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We've been heads down fucking writing music. Fred and Harry just churning out fucking music. And that's it. We're gonna that show will have all new songs. No 25 to Life songs. It'll be all Nailed to the Cross songs. So
it's gonna be get ready, people.
It's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be
get
heavy.
ready, people, because it ain't gonna be what you think here. It's a curveball, and it's hard as hell. So it's gonna be great. And let's just throw this out there that let's announce this. This has not been announced yet. We are announcing it here. You're hearing it for the first time. Sunday, August 31st, free all ages Sunday matinee at the Bowery Electric. It is Demise, Nailed to the Cross, Cropsy, Jackknife Johnny from California, and Concrete Burial. So Beto, you're going to be doing
double duty.
Double duty, huh?
Man. Double duty.
Yeah.
It's like this is elder abuse, guys. I'm freaking old, man.
Yep. Yeah. So this is a great bill, man. This is a great bill. Sunday matinee on the Bowery, free show, all ages. This is going to be a good one,
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I don't even have to switch out my gear. It's great, man. All I got to do is switch guitars for this.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're kind of
the gear stays up.
Yeah, the gear. That's why you're playing back to back, Beto, with both bands. We're keeping it.
Keeping the ESP.
Is that the same weekend as Jimmy's Cruise? I don't know. I haven't. I don't know. I do not know that. Is Hoya playing bass for Demise? No, he's not. Demise has been playing for a while now, right? Right, Beto? What's the lineup?
Yeah, we've been playing with Gio. That's an exam, and he's playing bass for us. Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe we could drag Hoy up on stage one of these days.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, right.
I know he's in there somewhere.
Hey, Joseph asks, who's in Demise these days? What's the lineup?
Demise now is it's me, Cheeky, Taris, that's also an all-out war. Gio, of course, that I just mentioned, and Johnny LaFada that played in Madball with me, played in Neglect on drums.
Oh, John LaFada. Johnny Cray is who was in Demise. He moved to Finland, right?
He moved to Finland, yeah. So here and there there'll probably be shows that Johnny Cray will jump in, but of course he's overseas, so we had to get somebody else so that we could play these shows. And you know what? The band sounds great with both of them. Johnny LaFada knocks it out the freaking park. Yeah.
He's a great drummer. He plays on the Madball record that you play on.
No, he played on the one before me. Look my way.
The one before, right? Okay, right.
Well, you did some touring with him though, Beto. So
I did, yeah. Well, I did most of the touring for Look My Way. So I've been playing with Johnny for many years, and it felt very familiar having him in Demise, even though we've never played the Demise music together. It was easy. It was easy to do it with Johnny LaFada.
Sure. Well, he's tried and true player. Michael LaRoche asks, Beta, what's your current rig?
Current rig? Well,
Here we go.
It's complicated. Like really at home, I've got a 6505 plus and a Mesa oversized cab. But when I'm on the road, I play a quad Cortex now, so I'm using a modeler with a Power Stage 200 power amp, and that's it. I don't really bring my head out on the road no more.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible how things have changed, huh?
Yeah, but my thing is I love amps, but they're too temperamental. So, and then Warren knows this as a tech. It's like, you're moving this from place to place. A tube gets loose. All of a sudden, you've got to take it apart, reseat the tubes, or you got to change a tube. With these modelers, anybody that tells me that they can hear the difference once you're on stage playing, I mean, I doubt most people can hear the difference. That calls me a nerd. Lenny heard it though. He was in the studio with me. He knows what's up.
But do you use Richter straps?
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. We both bands are endorsed by Richter straps and ESP guitars, right? So
there you go. Yeah. Also what's the whole thing's become easier. Like just traveling and playing shows now has just become so much easier now. Even us doing shows, it's like promoting shows, that we do at the Bowery Electric. It's like a band that's like playing or doing a fly-in or whatever. The fucking guitar player can just fly in with his it's not like, oh man, we got to get this guy a Marshall head now. It's like people travel with and bass players forget about it. Bass players they're like, whatever, as long as I have a Sans amp, I'm good. Yeah.
Dude, I travel with a pedal board with 4 pedals, and as long as there's a head in the cabinet, I can just plug into. And even if there isn't, I can just go DI, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's like, Drew, with these things, like with this quad Cortex I use, I get bored of using an amp model for a PEV. I'm using, like today I was jamming out. I was using a Soldano rig through it. And I plug, I use the headphones I bring with me everywhere. I could literally jam out my rig anywhere I'm at. It's like I bring it with me. I could listen through headphones. I could go front of house. It's just way more convenient, Yeah. And then, back in the day, it used to suck. They didn't sound like real amps, but now they do. And you could copy your amp, which is even better.
Yeah, and for whatever it's worth, at the Barry Electric Show, you'll be playing, you know, through our the Fryette cabinet, you know, so
Those
the
are
Fryette
that-
cabinets, which are you know,
Yeah,
which are nice.
those are good. I remember using it last time. It sounded amazing.
Yeah, those things. What's up, Richie? Good to see you. John Angeli says, please tell Beto and Warren I say hello. John Angeli says hello, fellas.
What's up, John?
What's up,
Yeah.
Johnny?
So yeah, here's just I just came across this picture, and you know, one guy that's sort of been shadowing you guys is our buddy photographer Rich Zoller, and here's one of his shots, right?
Oh yeah, Rich is the best. So there's Fred,
Yeah.
man, fucking the riff master.
Yeah. So there you go.
Freddie.
Yeah. Is he still? What's he playing?
That's an Ibanez before we got our new guitars, right? So
right. Okay.
he plays ESP now, right? In the more recent shots. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's got an ESP that looks just like that one. You could barely tell.
yeah,
the difference.
exactly.
Gotcha. M8 Live says, now I see the influence of Beto's whammy bar flutters. Skulnick all the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go. What else we got? You think anything you guys could anything that comes to mind, let me know. We're sort of Are you? I know you just kind of flip. We'll take a break in a little bit and then come back and take questions from around the world. But Warren, are you working with Slayer? What's with that Black Sabbath thing?
Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna be out there doing that, right? So
yeah,
I mean, it's a it's a big tribute, right? It's should be fun.
They got to bring that show to the freaking States.
I don't ever get. For me, I get to see all the homies, right? It should be a big reunion for the crew guys. But we're all there working, so we don't really get to enjoy the other bands, right? You know what I mean? We won't really get to see other bands play. So,
I mean, those things are never like a lot of fun. I mean, when you're working it's like the
festivals are better.
Yeah. Yeah,
because you can actually watch the other bands play and hang out and do other things or whatever, right? But this is like doing an award show, man. It's gonna be work.
Yeah. It's stressful. Jose Leston asks, is Warren still doing real estate?
Yes, I am. Hit me up.
Real estate.
I have a worldwide network for real estate, so hit me up.
Yeah, right. I got you covered.
Yeah, dude.
Cool.
Check out. Let me give a shout out to Juliet and Heavy Realty. You know what I mean? If you guys end up dealing with me, you're gonna end up dealing with her as well for real estate. So
that makes sense. Do you still have? When I think of you from back then, do you still have this bass?
No, that was my first bass. I don't have that anymore. I don't know what happened to it, man. What the fuck, Beto? Do you remember what I did with that? I still have the other one, the Ibanez, the sound gear.
It was the black sound gear that you had?
No. I still have the black sound gear. It was the purple Ibanez with the stickers on it. That was
I thought I saw it in your apartment. That wasn't it?
No. You saw the black sound gear, the one that I think it was Alan from Life Agony that influenced all the hardcore kids to go get sound gear basses, man.
Those
right, Beto?
Well, that's Joseph K says love the LOA sticker. So there you go.
Yeah, see where they go, right? So
yeah.
That's an older. Was that at the Roxy, Warren?
Yes, that was at the Roxy.
Wow, the Roxy. We're going back.
In Long Island and Huntington, right? So
Frank Cariola's Roxy.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just kind of going through some photos here just before, but I like this. There's a Madball. It's a Madball with Billy from Biohazard. Is that right? You remember this, Beto?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was in Europe.
It looks like. Well, that's what's his name up front. Isn't that Nam? Is that Nam up front?
Yeah,
no.
Nam and LB.
Yeah,
Nam and LB. That was they went on that tour. That was a fun tour. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Martin there in front of Eric, and then me behind Eric, Freddie. Wow. That was a good tour. What's that?
Is that Eric 8-Ball over there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. You know,
Oh,
he was
that-
always every tour. He was with us.
Wow, Billy's wearing that shirt. That's Rhonda, the tattoo artist.
Yeah, yeah.
She did my chest. She did my chest piece.
Oh, really?
Oh, she did the. Oh, yeah, man. She tortured me. She tortured me for. Oh God. Yeah.
Drew, you might have you weren't there on that tour. Oh, look at it, dude! It looks brand new. It looks like she just freaking did it.
Dude, it's like 50 years old.
It looks like she just did it yesterday.
Oh, she tortured me. It was like, ah!
Oh my
And I was
God.
skinny as a rail. You know when you get tattooed and you're skinny as a rail, right in the. Oh.
So she basically tattooed your bones.
Oh God, it was. People are like, tattoos don't hurt. I'm like, yeah, they do. What are you talking about?
Yeah, depending where you get
They
it.
hurt emotionally as well as they do phically.
Yeah, the Madballs can't come in. You know that story? The Madballs can't come in. That's from a story I told when we were at early on. I was with Scott Koenig, and we were at the Rainbow in L.A.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Scott Koenig. And we were at, and I guess Madball played out there. This was early on when they were like out there with like, you know, the Destruction Crew. You know, I don't know who was
Hatebreed and Scarhead and Earth.
Could have been. I mean, I don't know who was with them. MQ, Scam, like it was like.
I'm pretty sure that was when Scott managed the band. I think.
Yeah,
could have been, but they got into some sort of scrap with the guys at the Rainbow, like, you know, the old gangsters that run the Rainbow, you know. And I remember they threw a garbage can through the front door, and it was just like Madball devastation circa, you know, 1994 or 5 or whatever it was, you know. And I remember the guy that used to, you know, be the maitre d', you know, an old, you know, Italian gangster guy. He said, the Madballs can't come in here anymore. The Madballs, they're done. Yeah.
Oh, man.
The Madballs.
I'm sure Hoya knows the story of that one.
Oh, it was classic, man. They just destroyed the place, man. You know?
If it's a tour I'm thinking of, dude, it was one of many episodes of destruction.
What's that? That pink Hello Kitty guitar?
Dude, this is my girlfriend's Hello Kitty guitar. I love it.
Nice.
She loved it. It's great.
We got to bring that up.
Who makes that?
It's a Squire, right? What is this, babe? Squire? Yeah, it's a Fender Squire.
Yeah. So that said, hey, let me take a quick sponsor break. We'll come back. We'll take some questions from around the world. All right? We'll see you in a minute. There you have it. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guests today are Beto and Warren Lee from Nailed to the Cross. Any questions you have, please post them up. Go deep, get weird. We are sponsored by blah, 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 and 126 Hardcore Clothing. They're a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. Last but not least, Vinny Stigma's cousin Joe Ramini, the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Roullet, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front, who are playing their last show of the tour tonight with Murphy's Law at Amityville Music Hall. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Want to mention a couple of upcoming shows. You know what I got to get? You know what I got to get in here? Where is that? Here you go. This Friday and a week from today, there is no show. We won't be doing this show a week from today. Just a heads up. ID are playing a couple of shows. This Friday, out in Staten Island at Mother Pug's. Both of these shows are free, by the way. The first one on Friday at Mother Pug's, which is now owned by Johnny Eggs from Sheer Terror. It's been re-renovated. Enrage, it's their record release show. Cropsy, Staten Island's finest. ID and Tear Gas at Mother Pug's this Friday, free show. And then 2 days later, the big banger at the Barile Electric, Conservative Military Image, Incendiary Device, American Eagle, Murderer's Row, featuring Bob Riley and Faded Line. So that's happening Friday and Saturday. And just want to mention a couple of other upcoming shows while we are here. Okay, we mentioned this. Yo, the Rebelmatic album release performance is at Generation Records Saturday, May 3rd. Come on down. Excuse me. Hegs presents Rampage Fest 7, Sunday, May 4th. Sworn Enemies, Silence Equals Death, Brass Knuckle Brigade, Redwoods, Life of Deceit, formerly Gunk, No Comply, and DJ Sid the Kid. Yo, we're heading out on the Drew Stone Cinematic and Music Tour. It's free for all patrons on Saturday, May 10th, and it is ending up at Generation Records because we are doing the Greg Smith London 77 book signing and Q&A event. That is Saturday, May 10th. Everybody is welcome. That said, please post your photos for today's guests. Let's bring them back on. Warren Lee. Hey, man. And we're waiting for Beto to show back up. Yes, we are finally coming back up to Boston. I didn't mention that one. That is happening on, here you go, on my birthday, June 28th. ID's playing Boston with Tree. That's right, at Brighton Music Hall. So nothing like playing on your birthday. Let's bring Beto back on. Here we go. Let me get everybody back to their spots. And hey, Joseph K. Warren, does Warren stay in touch with any of the Out of Line guys?
Do I still talk? No, actually, I'm not really. I'm in touch via social media with the old singer, the singer Dave Barron. But the rest of the band, no, I'm not really in touch with them.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened to those guys, man. I think Dave moved to North Carolina. I think it was doing real estate. I think at one point. I don't know if he was doing that anymore. Matt, fuck, I'm spacing on his goddamn name. Oh my god, Steve, the other guitar player. I don't know what happened to him. And the drummer Mike, I don't know what happened to him either. So lost touch.
You know, it's hard. Like, hey, what happened to the guys in the band you played in 30 years ago? It's like, hey.
I mean, because so again, I had to leave that band because 25 to Life was too busy. So I just kind of lost touch, right? Because at that point when I joined the band, at Beto, we had fucking shows weekend, whether it was practice, right, or you know what I mean, whatever. We just never stopped, right? So from what I remember, we just once I joined the band, we just went and just Japan, Europe, everywhere, across the East Coast, man, from like fucking Virginia to Maine. We would play shows, right? We went as far as Ohio. We went to California. We just were busy all the time, man. So
2 shows a day sometimes.
Yeah, man, straight up.
Here's one for you, Beto. I got a picture to go with it from your tenure in Madball. Saludos, Beto. What's your favorite memory of the Hold It Down days? Favorite Madball record?
Favorite memories. I don't have too many memories from Hold It Down because honestly, Mitz did most of the touring.
Right.
But my favorite memories, I would say, were probably recording that record. And we pulled off some stuff. I mean, there's some songs on that record that we literally finished in the studio, like Semper Fi. I'm sure there's a few other ones, but I'm really surprised that we pulled it off. I'll say that.
Yo, that song is actually about my brother too.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely, man.
Right on. Oh, has Warren seen his Hardcore Legends trading card?
What?
Where is? Hey, did you?
No.
Do I have that, Josh? Hold
You
on,
serious?
let me see. Let me look.
That's
Let me
kind of
look.
cool.
Yeah,
Kind
it's
of cool.
That's fucking pretty cool. I didn't know I had a card.
Yeah. Hold on.
I didn't know I made that list. That's cool.
Yeah, wait, I'm looking for it. He sends me the
Maybe
stuff.
my girlfriend will like me better. What do you think, honey? Think I'm cooler now or what?
Hold on, I'm looking for it. Hey, Josh, you got to send it to me, man. I got
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
Send it through, Josh. I don't know where it is. I might have put it somewhere. I can't find it. How many Madball albums did Beto do?
Just one. I joined right when Look My Way came out, but I didn't record on Look My Way. That was Maddie. Hold It Down was the only one that I did.
Yep. And Facebook Messenger. Well, I'm trying to. Let me find it. Facebook Messenger's acting weird. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Oh, here we go. I got it. Oh, very good. Here we go. Hey, didn't I just put this picture up? All right. Here is the front of it. Let's see. All right, Warren Lee. This is your life. Boom.
Baseball card. That's cool. I didn't know I
There you
didn't
go.
know I had a card, man. That's cool. Beto had a card.
Yep.
Oh,
There
look
you
at
go.
that. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Come here, look. I'm on a base. I'm on a card.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Josh.
Yeah. Let me show you. Let me show you the back of it. The backs are really great. He really works hard and does his research. Let me show you. Oh, here we go. Let me show you the
I
back.
don't have my glasses. I can't see.
Well, we'll tell you. It's pretty cool. Here's the back. Hold on. Sorry, I usually have these together beforehand, but
That's all good.
sometimes
That's cool. Thank you, Josh. I really. It's an honor, man, to have to be on that
There
card.
you go. There's the back. Bands perform with Out of Line, 25 to Life, Nailed to the Cross. In addition to his tech work and all his own music, Warren is also the co-founder of Pitchfork New York Hardware, a clothing brand and record label established in 2003. Pitchfork New York supports independent musicians in punk, hardcore, metal, and hip-hop with cross-promotions and sponsorship. Oh, fun fact. Warren is a member of the IA Stagehands Union and has worked tech, crew, and stage manager positions for bands like Slayer, Seven Dust, Meshuggah, Sick of It All, Vision of Disorder, Machine Head, Atreyu. How do you pronounce that? Atreyu, H2O, Rancid, Rob Zombie, and many others. Hey, do I remember this correctly, Warren?
He did do his research.
What's that?
He did do his research. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, Josh will reach out to you. Was VOD the first band that kind of put you on as a tech?
No. So I started out with Fahrenheit 451. I was kind of like rolling with them. And then I just happened to get, so what happened was VOD hit me up right as they were blowing up. You know what I mean? Like blown up as in like they just did Ozfest, you know? So like,
yeah.
And then after that, they fucking needed somebody, you know? So they hit me up and I just ended up staying with them for a really long time. And I want to say about 3 years, right? Oh, my first bus tour was with them. My first national US tour was with them, right? In the RV. Jesus Christ, oh my God, that RV. We spent like 3 months in that thing. Oh, oh man, it was.
I've been there, man.
So many. Oh
I've
man,
been there.
It was. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I think we did vans and stuff before that, right? But yeah, I came up with those guys, man. Honestly, and then from there.
Right on.
I can't remember where I branched off to right after that, but it just kept, H2O, whatever, Biohazard, whatever it was. So,
and here's another shot of your endeavors as a tech. We mentioned this guy before, but this is a great shot.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's in Australia. That's by Andrew Stewart, I think, took that picture. Yeah.
What? I mean, Slayer's on stage. Who's playing drums there?
John Detty.
Right,
because
I'm
that
like
was
looking.
right
I'm
when
like,
Dave left. That's right when
right,
Dave left the band, right? So
right. Yeah, those guys take it in stride. They're like, yeah, we'll get somebody else. It's cool.
I mean,
Whatever.
listen, it was either that or cancel, right? We were,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
could have canceled,
yeah.
right? You know,
Lenny from Fahrenheit says the first tour War did for us was with VOD. We had 9 guys in a cargo van plus gear.
Yeah.
Wow, 9 guys.
It smell like a gym in there.
Ugh. Basically, you have 3 in the front, 3 behind them, and 3 lying on the equipment. You know?
I honestly hardly even remember those days
Yeah,
because it was so, like, I like, oh man,
yeah,
that's rough.
yeah. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got.
I'm used to comfortable touring at this point in my life, right?
Yeah,
So
of course. Well, that's what I figure. Like, of course, that's All right, this is a good question, Warren. Warren, what band have you enjoyed working for on tour?
what band? Slayer, obviously, because I stayed with them for fucking 20 years. I'm still with them. For me, whatever they, growing up, that they were the band I fucking looked up to the most, right? So I ended up working for them. I don't know how the fuck that happened. That's it, whatever I do, but it's a long story. But yeah, Slayer, and honestly, if like the bands that on the listed on the cards on that the trading card or whatever, man, I like working for all those bands, right? So they were all very genuine. Honestly, I was lucky in my career to only work for bands that I believed in. Yeah, I believed in what they were doing. The guys I worked for directly were super cool. So I did it, right. So I was lucky never enough. I was lucky not to make decisions based on money, right? Like I have to go work for pop bands to make real money or whatever the fuck. There you go. That picture's by Randy.
Kill the
That's actually
Kardashians.
Yeah. It's Gary's favorite shirt.
Yeah.
That's him.
Is that
That's him apologizing because he threw it. So at the end of the night, he would throw a beer, and I'd have to catch a beer. It was some crazy routine we had, and he missed. He threw the beer and it splashed all over my daughter. It was funny. And he was apologizing. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I can't believe I did that."
That's Jersey, right, Warren?
That might be Camden. Yeah, Camden. Yeah,
What's
no, it's Camden. I think that's
in
Camden.
That shed in Camden?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the shed in Camden.
Yeah.
Randy took that picture from Lamb of God.
Is this undercover information? What gauge strings does Kerry use to play live, Warren?
No, that's not nines.
Nines?
42s.
Yeah.
On the drop songs, he uses 52s.
There you go.
Simple, right? That's a well-known fact, right? He used the big, thinner triangle picks too. So
Yep. Lenny also chimed in, and you were the referee for the Fahrenheit 451 fights.
oh Jesus, yeah. I just talked to Lenny about that recently. It reminded me of all that. I kind of forgot all that shit. Like, yeah, goddamn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. So back to nailed to the cross. Speaking of touring, does Nailed to the Cross have plans to tour? Ooh.
No, we have plans to play shows.
Yeah,
Maybe short European tours, maybe, or stuff like that, but nothing like just other than weekends because everyone has real jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to get away, right? So
that makes sense. Started up like that,
I mean, listen, if something comes across our lap and it's worth, discussing and taking some time off from work and being able to get away with it, maybe we can, right? So
yeah. But you guys, like we mentioned before, you got 125 to live show with Ivan singing from Manipulate, and then comes the big Nailed to the Cross show opening up for VOD at the Paramount in Huntington where you will be debuting your new
The
singer.
new singer. Absolutely. It's gonna be good.
What's the date on that? I gotta go to that.
May 31st.
Look at my calendar. Where's Drew Stone on May
It's a
31st?
Saturday.
I think I'm here, bro. I'm here.
Let us know.
Well,
We'll get you.
it's the Saturday. I'm getting married on stage the next day
Oh, well, then that's up to you.
at the
We
Barry
go on
Electric.
early if you want.
Yeah, we go on early, right? So there you go. Is a clue? Is the vocalist for Nailed to the Cross from a hardcore band? Ooh, a clue.
We'll just leave you guessing on that. How about that? Could be, it could be not, right?
You're right. Could be. Very well could be. So, all right, good. There you go. I don't think we want. Does Beto have any? I think everything. Does Beto have any old live footage of Demise that could be uploaded to YouTube? Let me answer this one, Beto. I think at this point, anything that exists like that has been uploaded and is out there. I don't know if there's a big secret stash of stuff like that, right, Beto?
You know, somebody uploaded a video of Calm Before the Storm at CB's. Where's the rest of the video? Like, there's got to be more.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why these people are holding out. I'm like, upload the rest. I want to see the rest of the set.
Who's got all the fucking videotapes from those Madball tours, Beto? Someone has all those tapes somewhere, man. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
There was so much taping on back then with the handheld cameras, right? Before all this digital shit.
I know, like what happened with all that stuff, you know?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Does Hoya have it?
Yeah. Joseph K asks, did Beto go to Newtown High School with Hoya?
Of course. Yeah, I went to Newtown High School. Yep. Newtown High School and IS 61 for middle school.
Right. Robert Hagen in the UK asked, where can I find Nailed to the Cross music?
We don't have any released yet. We will soon. But if you go to follow our Instagram page, which is Nailed to the Cross Official, you'll keep, you can get updated there, right? So.
Gotcha. What else we got as we head down? Uptown Al's. Lenny says Uptown Al's responsible for a lot of the footage you see, and he's infamous for putting up a song instead of the whole set.
Oh man, he likes torturing us.
You know, I hear that, man. Sometimes when someone's like, "Oh, puts up our whole set," I'm like, "Ah, God." You know?
But back then, Drew, you remember like at CB's, they would record everything and then you could buy the VHS tape. So I knew that there was more to it.
Who has all that? A lot of that stuff is Clayton Patterson, and because I've seen the box in his house, and he's it's going to end up getting thrown out. He's never going to do anything with it.
I heard the same story with Jake that used to own Unisound in Reading.
Yeah,
I heard him holding on to tons of videos, but I don't know what the hell's going to happen with him. Yeah.
Count Ralphus asks, was the name Nailed to the Cross influenced by the Whiplash song? How did you guys, Warren, come to rebrand the band Nailed to the Cross?
Man, honestly, it was fucking Jay's idea. Right?
No, Harry came up with Nailed to the Cross.
Right. I think it was the name came from Jay, right? I think Beto, yeah.
No. I think it was from Harry, honestly. I'm pretty
Harry?
sure
Okay.
we're going to use. But I love Whiplash, but I didn't even put two and two together. And Harry came up with it, not me. But
and Harry's religious, right? So I think it has something to do with that, So
yeah.
That's
good.
And then we turn it into he's religious, and then we turn it into like a death metal thing.
Or maybe was it Harry or Fred? It was Harry or Fred that came up with the name, man. Those guys are gonna have to correct us on that, right? So
it's
one of those two guys that came up with it. Fred came up with the logo. You know what I mean? Just like he came up with the 25 logo, right? So it's we're full circle. We're operating as the band used to back in the day. So
yeah. So I know Jay came up with the first name that he threw at us that we almost used, and then
that's right.
Week.
Yeah, so I want to say it was Fred or Harry that came up with the name. So
makes sense. Well, all right. Well, listen, everybody out there, we just announced this today. the Back to the New York Hardcore Roots Series proudly presents Sunday, August 31st, Demise, Nailed to the Cross, Cropsy, Jackknife Johnny, and Concrete Burial. Free all ages show on the Bowery. Want to thank you guys for coming on. I'm super excited about seeing Nailed to the Cross with this new singer that's
Recommended by you.
Recommended by me. I'll take the fall for this one. You know, I think it's going to be great, man. I think it's going to be great. Is there anybody you want to thank, Warren? Anybody you want to shout out?
I mean, fucking yeah. ESP guitars, Richter straps, the rest of the band, right? Fred and Harry for fucking always holding it down. Beto for always holding it down. And my girlfriend who lets me live out here with her now. So that's it.
Got it. Sorry. Beto, how about you?
Same here, man. My bands, everybody in Demise, everybody Nailed to the Cross and 25 to Life, my family, you, Drew, you know, everybody that's that makes my life interesting.
Yeah. Good to have an interesting life. That
Yeah,
said,
thanks for having us, Drew. Always.
listen, you guys are big supporters, man, you know, and through the years, and I love you guys, and I appreciate it, and I'll always be there to support you, and here's a good shot to sort of end with. You guys up there killing it, and I'm really happy for you, man. I really am, and I think that I can't wait. You know, for everybody to get a wind of this, and for you guys to play one of our shows, man. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, dude, we're excited to thanks for having us. Oh, and shout out to Josh for putting me and Beto on cards, right? So that's cool.
Oh yeah,
That's fucking cool as fuck, man. So but yeah, Drew, absolutely. Thank you for having us. Thanks for letting us play these shows. Obviously, we definitely wanted to do one of your matinees for sure. So
yeah, it's going to be great. So yeah, Josh will reach out to you and get you get it to you and all that.
Yeah, I'm in touch with him for sure. So
good. All right. Thank you, my friends. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
Yep. Boom. Another one in the books. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. I hope things are well in your life. I hope you're telling your loved ones that you love them. Life is short, you know. We're talking about Al Barile and stuff. And yeah, you know, life is fleeting. It's here and it's gone. Hey, Paul Kostabi, what's up, man? Appreciate you watching the show, Paul. And I saw that you're a patron. Hey, listen, everybody with this patron thing, you know, you can be a free patron too, and you'll be in the mix. So sign up at Patreon. If you could do $2 or $5 a month, that's great. But even if you can't, just sign up and be a part of the community. That's what's up. But yeah, well, thank you. Yes, good guests. Yep, good guests. Rest in power, Al Barile. And we talked about Al a little bit at the beginning of the show. Hopefully, we're gonna do a tribute to Al at some point. You know, got to see what how Nancy Barile feels about it. But you know, my intention would be to do a tribute show to Al, even if it's not part of our regularly scheduled programming, like what we used to do during the pandemic, like a Thursday show or a Friday, whatever, like, you know, bonus episode or whatever, you know. So we'll do that, you know, if we get the chance. So let me see if anybody has anything. That's right. Rest in peace, Al Barile. Yeah, I got the call this morning, man. I knew Al was sick But yeah, Al's been sick for a long time, and he fought a brave fight, and he really suffered, man. Al really fucking suffered, man. And part of what Al struggled with is, Al hurt himself, back in the day, doing stuff like this. And I said this at the beginning of the show. Al did kamikaze stuff like this, man. Landing on his back again, and this is no joke. Al didn't land on his feet here. Al landed like on his butt and on his back. I mean, he fucking. I've never seen it. I've rarely seen it. Total reckless abandon for one's self-preservation, all in the spirit of the music, and at the time, American hardcore. Oh, he also mangled himself when he worked at General Electric, so yeah. And Stone Cold Sober. Absolutely. Yeah, he was one of the original, Boston straight edge guys, right? Of course, people, please get a colonoscopy. I know Nancy mentioned it on Instagram, but take it from someone whose mom died of colon cancer. Yeah. I just had a colonoscopy, Yep. Al Lethal. Yep. That's when, back in the early Boston days, right? Like, Al was, Al, we called Al was lethal. Jack Kelly was choke. Dave Spring was Springer. Yeah. So Engage, right? He played Engage. Yep. A little bit different kind of a band. But yeah, he played. So grateful for the SSD book and reissues in the last 2 years. Yeah, man, those reissues that Trusted were fantastic. Great stuff. Yep. Absolutely. So, yeah. We'll see. We will see. This Wednesday, just a reminder, Jay Blakesberg, photographer, will be on the show, celebrating the release of Retro Blakesberg Presents Punk. It's a cool book. Lots of cool stuff in this book. What's up? Lots of cool stuff. Yeah. Punk. That's a punk dude right there, right? So yeah. Can we talk Grateful Dead? We're going to talk a little Grateful Dead with Jay Blakesberg. We're going to talk some Grateful Dead with Jay Blakesberg for sure. I mean, Grateful Dead, Jay Blakesberg was a Grateful Dead photographer. So, but yeah, is that right, Eddie? I mean, was he a Bay Area music photographer? Is that right? A BAM guy? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right? I mean, Bad Religion. And there's a pass here for Slims. Was Slims a San Francisco club? So lots to talk about with Jay, So yeah. That said, anything else? Any other questions? Anything you need to say? Anything that SSD forever? Right on, man. Band that changed my life. I would not be sitting here right now. I wouldn't if it wasn't for Al Barile and SSD Control. Oh, Slims is in San Francisco. Okay, that makes sense. Is that right? Slims was owned by Boz Scaggs? I did not know that. Lido left the shack that day. Lido. Whoa. Yeah, man. Boz Scaggs. Yeah. What else? Anybody else? What do you got? What's on your mind? Is that right? Vero Fergana rocked last night. Right, at the Eugene Hutz thing at Bowery Ballroom. That's right. I missed what? 2 shows last night. It's hard for me to go out the night before we do this. I have to I'm very regimented, you know. I have to be asleep by 10 o'clock and up at 6, or once I can't get thrown off. Enjoy every friggin' day because it can end tomorrow. That's a fact. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I used to think that when I was, out there doing bad things, but yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yep. Appreciate you, Drew, and your sacrifices. I know. Yo, I sacrificed going to the Agnostic Front Murphy's Law show so I can do this today. I do it because I love it. And it's just, I just want to be 100%, I just don't want to be frazzled. Today was an emotional day too, so, I know we mentioned it before, but this Friday, at Pugs, Mother Pugs Saloon in lovely Staten Island, enraged Cropsey, ID, and tear gas. And 2 days later, back in our home, the Bowery Electric. Conservative military image, incendiary device, American Eagle, Murderer's Row, and Faded Line. Are you going to Punk Rock Bowling? Yeah, we're playing Punk Rock Bowling, and it's sold out, bro. Incendiary Devices playing Punk Rock Bowling with 7 seconds, negative approach, the effigies in Stalag 13 at the Fremont Country Club, and it is sold out Friday, May 23rd. And I am hosting a guided tour on the Sunday, the 25th. So yes, I will be at Punk Rock Bowling. And I will be hosting a tour. So if you're out there, come do the tour with me and a bunch of my friends. And tickets are selling, I'm told. So, I'm excited about Punk Rock Bowling. I've never been to Punk Rock Bowling. My wife has been there a couple times, 6 times or something. So is anyone else playing the Boston show at U and Tree? Yeah, I think they announced that already. I think they're announcing one band at a time, but that show's on my birthday. So motherfuckers better come out on my birthday. Be up in Boston on my birthday. So looking forward to that. Anything else? What else? Yeah. Okay. Very good. I think we're okay. I think I covered everything. Anybody see any good movies lately? You know what I want? You know what I'm watching right now on Netflix? The old 1970s movie, The 7-Ups. Anybody know that movie, The 7-Ups? It's like New York in 1974. Yep. Anyone know that movie, The 7-Ups? Roy Scheider. I'm watching that right now. Old. What's that? Is that a movie? Love Hurts. You know what else we just watched? That Gone Girls thing on Netflix about the Gilgo Beach killer. Very interesting. Mr. In Between. I don't know that either. Okay. That Gilgo Beach thing is really interesting. It's it's a crazy shit. Oh, what'd you think of the Bob Dylan thing, Lenny? We saw that in the movies. You know what? Let me hear what you have to say. The Bob Dylan film. Yeah, the HR documentary was okay. It was okay. It was good. Yep. You just watched what last night? The Gilgo thing? Yeah. Or yeah. It was good. It's like, holy mackerel. Fuck. Yeah, you enjoyed it for what it was. I thought the Bob Dylan thing was, you know what? I'm going to go as far as saying this, right? on the Drew Stone scale of sucked, fair, good, very good, and excellent. I thought the Bob Dylan thing was. I'm gonna go with this. I thought the Bob Dylan thing was very good. I thought Nosferatu was excellent. I thought Nosferatu, the new Nosferatu, was like the best film I've seen in years. I really enjoyed it. It really, like, and I'm talking about, these are movies, you know, we go to the movie theater and see these movies. This isn't something I'm watching, you know, on the TV. We go to the movies and sit close, you know, and with the reclining seats, you know, and she brings a blanket and we put the armrest up, and she, you know, like, we do it up. So these are movies I saw, you know, in the movie theater, you know. So, the kid did a good job. The movie was paint by numbers. Yeah, pretty much. And they made like Joan Baez like a super hottie. It's like, excuse me, like all of a sudden Joan Baez is like, woo. So I mean, Joan Baez was, you know, gorgeous back in the day, but all of a sudden in this movie she's like, whoa, you know. Yeah, it could be worse. They could do a remake of Urban Cowboy. Just watch Savage Streets with Linda Blair. Ooh, going back. I think she did that. Like, did she do that after The Exorcist? Like, yeah, is that the one where she was like in jail? Is that one? Loved the Dylan movie. Okay. Yep. Yeah, she was way too hot. It's like, wait a second. Come on now. You know, but listen. The kid who played Dylan was fantastic. I mean, that kid, he was great. He was great, you know. But Nosferatu, man, if you haven't seen it, man, that was I love that for a couple of different reasons. But that one really spoke to me and my gal, you know. Yeah, it's been over 100 years since the first Nosferatu, 1922. It was time for remake. Well, it was remade. It was remade a couple of times, including the Werner Herzog Klaus Kinski film, which is great. Oh no, it's a vigilante movie. Okay, yep. Just rewatch Top Gun. You know, I never saw Top Gun and I never saw the sequel. And my dad told me that the sequel they did, what is that, a year or two ago, was very good. And this is coming from my dad, who is a film director who thinks like everything sucks, you know? So go figure. Half tempted to see the new Snow White just to see how bad it really is. Ugh. I'm sure it's horrible, bro. But I'm sure it's about as horrible as any of the Marvel movies that Disney now makes, you know? Yeah, Nosferatu had great cinematography. It was great. Fucking fantastic. You know? Val Kilmer in Tombstone, absolutely. That, you know, that's kind of popping, that's kind of bubbling up to that's coming up on my feed a lot, you know. Val Kilmer killed it in The Doors. You know what? It feels a little dated, the Doors movie now. We saw some of it. It's feels a little like, yeah, you know. What sucked? It sucked. Are you talking about the Dylan movie, Nosferatu? What sucked? It sucked. It sucked. You know? Marvel. Oh, you're talking about, maybe Debbie, you're talking about the Snow White movie? Okay. Yeah, he was great in Heat. Yo, Heat, directed by Michael Mann, in my opinion, has the greatest gun fight ever in a movie. Is that scene, the bank rob? Let's call it this. Heat has the greatest bank robbery scene in any movie. Saving Private Ryan has the greatest gunfight. That opening scene when they take Omaha Beach is the most incredible battle scene I've ever seen in a movie. Is that right? Heat is free on YouTube. Heat is cool. You know, yeah, Snow White sucked. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, man. I mean, yeah, you know, that's like, listen, you know what? It's a toss-up. Would I want to see Snow White or what's the other one with a girl with her screeching. Yeah, what is that? That one that was just out, The Wizard of Wicked. Oh God, yeah, I'd rather throw myself off this building than go to see Wicked. Yeah, I couldn't deal with that. Yeah, yeah. You know, yeah. He. Is that right? The military uses heat in training. Is that right? I wouldn't doubt that. That's an incredible gunfight. Yes, that's right. Wild shit. The North Hollywood infamous bank robbery was inspired by heat. Yeah, RS-70. Yeah, 100%. That is crazy. Crazy. They came packed. They were bringing heat. Yeah. You know, broad daylight in the street. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, Marvel movies are painful now. They suck. They suck. Suck. Marvel movies suck now. They all suck. You know? That's right. Good connection. Heat and Saving Private Ryan both have Tom Sizemore. The lunatic Tom Sizemore, who was an incredible actor on a lot of stuff, you know? He did, Tom Sizemore. I love Tom Sizemore as an actor. He did some great stuff, before he absolutely lost his friggin' mind, Yep. That said, all right. Well, there you have it. Rest in peace, Al Barile. Hopefully we do a tribute show to you. Thank you for putting me on this path. And thank you all for watching the show. I really appreciate it. We'll see you in a couple days for Jay Blakesburg. Hopefully we'll see you when we play live in New York on Friday or on Saturday. Until next time, please do good things. And good things will come.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty.